This is IBM Museum. So it's time for me to do a video on this IBM Odd-ware. I don't think that this unit has been covered before. It's kind of one of those LGR type videos where he just goes over one of those odd devices that's out there. I think V Westlife has done a couple of those as well. But it's a, I just recently located the original diskette for it, and I knew where I had the parts and pieces off to one side. Hopefully I've arranged the camera pretty good. I'll just have to determine what I can kind of go with here as I show this off. That's about the same orientation you see in the image. The top of this, you know, it's got IBM, and it's got this, it's actually a clear plastic it's just got that, I guess they call it probably like a smoke or a black background to it, but the LEDs shine through with activity, and there's a USB type B port on the front, and this is probably USB 1.1, or I mean the initial USB that came out. I'll actually show the announcement for this in a bit. And there's a single USB type A port on the front, and then on the back there's four USB type A ports, and you have a keyboard and mouse. Let me see. I may actually want to go through. Well, I've got the camcorder, and I could go through and zoom in, but I can probably bring this into enough perspective as well. It's got the PS2 keyboard and mouse ports. It's got a serial port, DB9, and a parallel port, and then the power supply connection. It's like a 15-volt DC, and I've ordered a couple more of these. I mean, they appear to pop up on eBay for not so much. This is the only one I have. I've ordered a couple more because I want to go through, and later on in another video, I'm going to I'll go through and want to crack one of these open just to kind of see. Let me go through. I can further demonstrate what I've got in the bag on the side. This is the power supply, and then I've got the diskette for it. And this actually confuses me because this diskette is it's still sealed. And I had thought that I looked over the software contents at one point, but I've never had that diskette out of the bag. And we'll go through and we can look at that on a system just to see what the contents are. But let me go through and I'll pull up the page for it. And let's get to where we can interact with this. And I think I've got things, my windows, arranged correctly. But believe it or not, there's still a web page that IBM has up on this device, and it's so we've got overview, multiport USB hub is apparently what they called it. And there's a few other versions I saw. They're probably later in a different format, a little bit more common to like a USB hub that we would see nowadays, or those media reader USB ports. I mean, now USB, you get up to USB 3 and the USB-C connections. I mean, you could run, here I've even got a device that I run, it gives display output from it. It's got USB ports on it, and it's USB 3, and then so it actually has the ability to run my big screen over the top and off to either side, with the improvements that USB 3.0 does over the earlier USB versions. And, we would call this, today we would call this probably more like a port replicator, or actually a dock in this case. I mean, they're going through and just having a little side device that you can connect up, typically via USB, that gives ports out. And if it has the same ports commonly on the unit, they call that a port replicator, because all you're doing is you're putting the ports available of the system in a different location. Or, dock is used interchangeably, that it has, it's not so much that your laptop mates to that bigger dock or sits in that cradle. It's just a side little box now that gives all those port connections and a lot smaller devices. But this is the product documentation that it has, and features in technical details, Multiport USB Hub, and they even have I guess a publication link. I did go through and look at that before, but we're fine with the summary details here. Expand the function of your PC quickly and easily with the black multi-port universal serial bus USB hub. If you want a quick and convenient connection to multiple devices and more connections than your system offers, you can benefit from this USB hub. The following additional ports are accessible from one system USB connection. And, keep in mind, IBM had a lot of devices out there that they branded with their name. I've got a cordless phone at home that's branded with IBM on it. They did go through and take other products and brand them as their own, even though they weren't necessarily, and really wide-ranging different devices. So it has 5 additional USB ports. We've seen that the 4 on the back and the 1 on the front. Printer port, and they say limited parallel. And down below it says that it actually only connects printers up to that parallel port. And not that there's any printers nowadays that are using that parallel port that goes straight out from USB. Serial port, keyboard port PS2, mouse port PS2. And I thought it even really interesting for that this is designed to go into, plug into the USB of a computer, yet provide the keyboard and mouse port that a system of that time you'd expect. I mean, there is some, I guess I've seen some thin client systems that just have the USB connections and don't have a PS2 port, although those are typically require drivers. It might be worth kind of experimenting around with some of the things out there, and that driver functionality is going to come into prominence a little bit later on. Now, feature, and I don't know why now they say 9. Okay, so they're doing the total of 9 additional ports and only 6 by 3.5 inches of desktop space. And then they itemize out the ports once again. Instant access, hot docking, undocking to approved devices connected to multi-port USB hub. So you can plug in this to a system that's already powered on, of course, through USB. And they're talking about that dock functionality, really, and a more appropriate name for what this device is viewed as now, or similar devices are viewed as now. So multiple LED indicator lights to confirm status of connected USB devices. And as I say, underneath that, that smoked out plastic, I mean, it does have LEDs below that that show the activity with those USB devices plugged in. And system extra support services and financing, whatever that means, buying the unit. The warranty, 1 year limited customer carry in exchange. I wouldn't even know where to carry this in. And I got this, and I don't even know the occasion I got it. I think I got it in new packaging, likely of a matter of decades ago when it was a brand new sort of device. I haven't seen them really around. I haven't seen where anyone else, and that's why me jumping in ahead of me getting the other units here, because that'll be the time to go in depth. And if I have more than one unit, I can be a little bit more reassured in going through and opening up a device and making sure I'm, you know, if I break something, it wasn't my only version. So that's the reason I've ordered a couple more. I just want to see the chips inside to see how it does that. Even see markings on that printed circuit board or chips inside, to find out where it might have been manufactured. So the packaging, multi-port USB hub, AC/DC power adapter, and that's what I have. Pretty big wall wart. USB cable, and I remember the USB cable that is USB Type A to USB Type B was relatively short. Publications just means a little manual, and the option diskette that I have there. And I can image that option diskette as well now. And so, as I said, I'm kind of jumping in this because I wanted to. I'm not aware of any other videos that are covering this device. I saw a video of a week or two ago that LGR did. Maybe it's even longer now, about the IBM PC 110, the little tiny laptop that IBM had in the Japanese market that is a desired little small system. And I have one of those in the dock and everything. And not that I was necessarily going to feature it on the video. I've had it for a while. But I saw in that video he had recently bought it, and so he does a video, and of course then he has his thousands of followers, whatever he's up to in subscriber base now. So my attempt is to kind of preempt that I'm going to be the first one to show this on video. And if anybody else knows of that video, they can certainly put it in a comment, and so we can look at that one as well. I haven't done a whole bunch of searching, but I've never really seen this device featured on YouTube before. So this apparently had, of course, changes in probably this language markings. The only thing they'd have to do is the power supply and the and whatever translation of USB, if they even had, because you have icons for the port connections on the back. You don't really have any text. And of course, the manual that's included would be maybe language specific, different from, a lot of manuals now, they just throw in any 5-6 major languages, and they cover their bases that way. So I don't know why they had necessarily region-specific versions of this otherwise, other than the power supply and maybe documentation. But there's all the FRUs for this one. And I'll show the label on the bottom of this one for the FRU that's printed on it. I think it's somewhere within this. And see, they even have somewhat duplicates. Europe, Middle East, Africa, and they've got a couple little different markings on there. I don't know why they have those. Italy and Israel and Switzerland, United Kingdom part numbers. They have the part number of that Europe, Middle East, Africa, but then, or Asia Pacific, and yet then they have those countries below that, and Italian and English and the thought in German, Swahili maybe, I don't know, for South Africa, and of course English for the UK and United States. Product dates, there's the announcement date of 18 January 2000. So more than 20 years ago. Planned availability date, 21 years ago. This would be drinking age device now. And the withdrawal date is not really all that long afterwards. 27 August of 2002. Technical specifications, the weight, the height, the width, the depth, operating temperature, and relative humidity, agency approvals, the CE for electrical, UL, FCC ID. Some of these are probably for other countries. Hardware requirements. The Multiport USB Hub is supported on any ThinkPad. I may take them to task for that. Any ThinkPad. The ThinkPad I have out is not even IBM. ThinkPad notebook or desktop system with a USB port. Any, we'll key off of that. And it says software requirements, Microsoft Windows 98. So that is probably going to be the big letdown there. Limitations, some configurations may not be supported. Serial port input devices such as mouse are not supported, and that means a serial port mouse connected to that COM port of the device. Parallel port, only printers are supported. Other installation time, approximately 10 minutes. Maybe on a bad day. You plug it in power and plug USB. Maybe all the device, and maybe used to the aspect of the Windows 98 USB. Does it have to go through on the Windows update or go online somehow, even though it doesn't mention that? And it's got that option diskette. When the diskette drives were common back in that time, to load all the drivers. We'll look to see what's on that diskette. Probably even we can do that next. Let me go through. Okay. So, I want to go over just an aspect. Let's open up the diskette and get that in. And it'd be nice if I have something where I can do timestamps. Got that diskette in there. That's probably from what I was working on with the L40SX. We'll put this diskette in there. And I will go through. And we're going to go through to VGA. Guess I could go VGA. Okay. And hide our, okay. So here we are on my Windows XP system, just to look over what is on this diskette. And hopefully, I've got to okay. Use all the right mouse, right? Okay, yeah, let's get things swung over. Guess I didn't prep all that much for this video, and I'll have to face a display just to get. Let me bring that down. Over. So we do have some devices, even that net buoy, FT ports, FT, and it'd be yeah. So you have parallel port, VXD, all this stuff, and I mean this is set up for Windows 98. It even has that installation, and that's what I can do when I get those other units. And just I was going to play around today and saying if I wanted to use the device, I'd even wonder. We're going to attempt to go through, and I can even pull it up on. I can even try and put the display of this device, this laptop. I guess I could have powered this up previously and done all that. Go through and okay. So that's how all. I haven't even tried to bring this up on screen to see how I can expand. Okay, got a red light. You might want to pull that label. Not that I'm trying to obliterate who the owner of this device is. It just gives a little bit. I guess I could have put masking tape over it too. I'm sorry. To the owner of this computer, in case she watches it, watches this video. Okay. Yeah, not really up on screen otherwise. And I hope this thing even. Okay. Click. Get a prompt for my pin, which I'm gonna. Should have been visible for how I typed it in. I'll go through and review the video later on, making sure of that. But okay, so I have the system up. Let's see how it. And I'm not going to try and run the. I don't have a diskette drive on this anyway. Oh, this has the. This even has the. Good thing I have this adapter for the HDMI port. So I don't need that HDMI cable I had there. But be good. We can go through. We'll actually power off that. Let's put that HDMI cable off to the side. Let's go through to HDMI. Okay. That's probably reasonable for this on the screen. I'm going to plug in our, if I can, maybe I'll have to go through from the other side. Do I have power connection I can use there? That's how unprepared and hurried I am for this video. Okay. I don't see any lights. Okay. So I don't think that runs anything critical. So now I can plug that in. And I probably wasn't disturbing anything anyway. Okay. Not bumping anything else. I just wanted to go through and try this too. You know, if I wanted to plug in something with the USB ports that give me even a PS2 keyboard and mouse and things like that, I would go through from a system that that doesn't have any of that. Doesn't have a serial port, doesn't have parallel ports, doesn't have the PS2 connections, of course. And it's got USB, and it's this is USB 3 on this. This is one of the Yoga laptops, and of course I'm running Windows 10 on it. Has this nice little flip over, converts into a tablet. The screen moves around and things like that. I've got that label off. Now, you know, I'm taking them to task for this being saying, you know, any ThinkPad. Well, this is a ThinkPad. I didn't see anything come up on and I guess I can go through. I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to shut down. I can eject that diskette. I'll go through and I'll shut down and plug in this keyboard and find out if I get keyboard activity. And we're going to even go through and try to go to the device manager, see what it shows there. I mean, I wanted to steal my little keyboard here just to kind of see, and I may have to go through and power this off and back on. Huh? So of course, that's just simply power. Saw the keyboard lights strobe. And so let's go through. Oh, okay. I guess I need to get my HDMI input source. And we can see, I mean, it doesn't even look like it's doing, I didn't see where it loads device drivers or anything like that, or I mean attempting to do the, well, look at there. we have mouse movement. So I'm going to face the display that I have here, just so I don't have the lag time and everything. Let's see. Let's even see for, I don't know if I have, I don't think I have Office on here, but we can do Notepad. And look at that, we have keyboard, okay? So that's kind of good. That's kind of cool in a way. Just to show the, there is the, with the power, that's lit up, your IBM on top. We don't have anything connected to USB, although we could. There's something good I have. Go through. Doesn't want to. And that USB is down there kind of deep. Let's go there. Okay, so we can see on the front, that's kind of dark. It's got yellow lit up, and that might even be interesting for, that symbolizes that it's at a particular speed or something like that. I would normally think that that would show up as green, just like that top LED when it's in use. Do we have? We're sure the mouse and the keyboard works now. I mean, we should see. I didn't see any pop-up about that. And desktop, this, okay. So that's got to be, yep. Okay. And that's that USB stick. So of course the USB hub operates like a, and it shows that, strobing light. I guess I have, I've got the ThinkPad shown. I'd need to get the subject of our video in there, in the side. So the remainder, I don't have an easy way to go through and for the serial or parallel port, I was just thinking of looking at, we can use good old, even though this is Windows 10, we can go to good old control panel. And I should have, I just rebuilt this a little bit more of the Windows 10. The Windows 10 was kind of messed up. So I went through. Okay. So device manager. And I thought I'd read in the instruction, maybe it was in the booklet, that in some circumstances with the OS, you could have to where the printer port wouldn't necessarily work. Okay. Okay. So I just wanted to look anyway. It warns me I'm not an administrator on this. That kind of hurts my feeling. Okay. So we have IBM USB serial converter. and it's flagged with the bang. I don't see any of the ports that I would expect for the parallel port. And of course, if it didn't find a so it looks like the serial port and the parallel port. And we can look at that under the, I'm interested in what chips it has inside and things like that for that. Because there's rhyme to that. It's probably just no compatible drivers for this, and I wouldn't expect that it would. It knows that it's USB to serial, but there's qualifications to this, and this is a 16-bit version of Windows 10. I want to get to where, okay, yeah, I'm logged on as a standard user. So we didn't see the serial parallel port there. Now I'm going to go through, let's bring up the, okay, I am on the launch. Okay, so I'm on my little webcam here. I'll try not to bump it or anything else. What I was going to show, the, for the, we can put this back in a little sleeve. For the ports that are on this, for those PS2 connections, mouse and keyboard, for the serial and parallel port, there are, current equivalents to do each one of these singly. Let's pull that USB. I'll leave the mouse and keyboard connected. It's interesting for that, all that's kind of minor, because that would be almost expected to work. We've got PS2 ports that function, and of course USB does. It's a USB hub. But I'll get through and figure out how to open this thing up. It's kind of a clamshell, side to side, and I may have to even peel that label. I don't see any screws on the bottom that are hidden under the feet. There may be a screw or something else below that label. Here's the label. Just because I said I was going to show that. And I don't know if that's probably not clear enough. The type is pretty small to go through. And I could do a zoom in on my camcorder if I absolutely had to, but that's fine too. Get this stuff out of the way a little bit. We can get that in the back. As I was saying, there's modern equivalents of these. This is I've got bunches of these things around because I'm used to consoling into network equipment, like a network switch through the console port. And this has either the DB9, which I've got an extension cord here for the DB9, or goes into the RJ45 style console port. And that was part of my toolkit, basically, to be able to use whatever console port that the switch has. Now these prolific, and that's the actual chip, and that's pretty much the go-to for USB to serial converters, is that prolific chip. Now, it's not a 32-bit or 64-bit aspect, but a Windows 7, Windows 8. In fact, I think I know Windows XP could use the older chip style, but I know when you went to Windows 10, and I think 7 and I don't think 7 and 8 were. I think they were grouped at the XP. I'd have to look at the documentation. but you had to have the newer chip style for these prolific adapters. When you'd plug this into the old chip into a Windows 10 system, it wouldn't work. And the old chip, and I think you could plug in the new version to both Windows 10 and the older OSs, and it would function. And normally you went through and you installed the driver first before you even plug this thing in, because the Windows default driver at the start of these, it just wouldn't get it right. You had to go through and apply that driver first. But these are, handy. You want to ever go to USB to serial, and that is why I wanted to show is that OS constraint that I didn't expect a conversion to the COM port that's on the back of this, the serial port, from USB to necessarily work for a Windows 10 system. And there's those VXD drivers on the diskette, that it would undoubtedly work with a Windows 98 system, maybe a little bit later. And, yeah, that's kind of a bummer in a way. I mean, I hoped if I plugged it in that I could go through and have use of the parallel and serial ports. Here's and this is a single. You can get the dual ones as well. This is a PS2 to USB converter, and these I have quite a few of the triplet ones around, and then a recent video I showed where the Think Center systems, like I have my little cleaner box that's over here on the side, they normally didn't come on those Think Centers. When Lenovo started making them, they got rid of the PS2 ports. But they had a little breakout and a little cable that you could put internally on the system. You just put it on, plug it into a header, and you get mouse and keyboard ports on the back of your Think Center. You might want to look through that video. I've on some of my Think Centers, I had to extend that connection. It wouldn't reach, but just about every Think Center I have that didn't have a PS2 port originally for the mouse and keyboard, I've put those adapters in there and got the functional. In that video, I even explained how to Windows 10. If you go through and add that little wiring harness for the PS2 connections, it doesn't recognize that you've got the PS2 connections initially. You have to go in and actually modify a registry entry to get that to get those to work. And in that video, I show how to do that. And maybe it's time for a good follow-up video on that as well. And then for the parallel port side, and I haven't even opened this box. This is a planned project of a USB to parallel, and it actually has the Centronic style 36-pin connector on this rather than a DB25 female, for what you'd expect for a printer port connection on a PC. But this actually would mate to the, and this is what I got it for, this project. And there was supposedly an LGR video that he did on this. And if anyone knows of where it is, I looked through his videos. I never could find it. I searched through. And, of course, he's got a lot of videos up. But this is the data migration facility. And the comment I heard is LGR said, Clint said, oh, there's a whole facility inside this. And what that was designed to do was the migration of your media, your diskette size, from the older systems, being the 5 1/4 inch, to the PS2 format, which is 3 1/2 inch diskette drives, of course. And this is the box that it came in. I think I just have one of these, and I bought that, for the grand total, some surplus store years ago, $10. as the orange tag on there. But what you did is you would connect up, because remember PS2s introduced that bidirectional parallel port. And so you'd connect this to your PS2, this end to the parallel port. And I don't know if that looks like there's even one pin missing on that. And I'd even have to see if that's designed that way, or hopefully this yeah, there's one pin that's out of there, and I'd even have to check to see what that is. That may be by design. I don't think it's necessarily keyway. And then on the other side, you connected up a printer cable, you know, come out of the parallel port of the older system, and you use the printer cable to connect to that Centronics connector. And basically you would, the 5 1/4 diskette had the send program, and all the starter and reference diskettes for the PS2s had the receive program. So it was like an early version of the lap link, or you know, the methods that you use for connecting either serial or parallel in this case. And you basically printed a file from that older system that had the 5 1/4 diskette to your PS2, where you had the 3 1/2 diskette drives. So I thought about you know, a project of going through, I don't know, I'd probably originally try and work with the original format of how it sent, transferred the files through that over the parallel port, so I wouldn't have to update any of the programs necessarily for the receive side on the PS2 side. But I thought, hey, it'd be great if I could adapt that to have a USB to the data migration facility, and basically a USB from a newer system and sending files to a PS2 in the same way. And of course, you'd have to have an operational PS2 to be able to receive that. You couldn't have something like you couldn't run like a reference, you know, diskette programs or anything like that. But you could. The thought is of just getting the basic file from a system with modern system with USB over to the PS2 would be easier in that regard, kind of almost like a networking side of things. So I just had an idea, and I'll cover that on video for a later project. But I wanted to show with that little side note, you know, of how all the ports on this thing, you know, there's modern equivalents to get that out of USB. USB being a very functional interface nowadays, and of course sped up and made to be faster with all the new versions. But you know, that's what this is. This is like I said, for the time frame and Windows 98 support, I would expect that that's probably USB 1.1 is in that device. Let's see how we're doing on time. Yeah, pretty good. Probably a little bit under 50 minutes. But, you know, that's a quick run through of this device. Later video, once I get more of these in. And, you know, I can go through, and I can even, on a Windows 98 system, I can run that diskette and see, you know, how that is set up. Look at the installer program and everything. But I'd like to open one of these up and see what chips that they have inside them, how it converts from the USB. You could go through and you could even hollow one of these out, and you could put in those modern, you know, equivalents to give the ports in the unit. You know, I've got enough space inside. You know, who knows? I mean, even one of the microcontroller devices of a Pi or Arduino or something like that would be, could even fit inside those things too. But even a Pi could go in there. You could make a mini computer in that sense, or where you have the USB ports out and everything, and the power supply for it. But I'm really interested in opening one up, and seeing what's inside those as well, and seeing if there's any branding from a manufacturer, and learning on those driver files. Maybe that'll reveal a manufacturer as well. But that's going to be another video. So if you did enjoy this content, click on that like button. And for anything I've gone over in this video, leave a comment too. If you know where those videos are out there that I'm referencing, if you've seen somebody else cover this, and I'm old news, whatever else, let me know. But that is the IBM Multiport USB Hub, and I'll give links to that browser page that this has and all that. And for this odd sort of stuff, I mean, if you'd like to even see more of these videos, this IBM Odd-ware sort of thing, let me know. I don't think I'd pull out my cordless phone and show it or whatever, and just because it's just IBM name on whoever made that phone. Kind of cool little phone and everything else. And I can probably still buy battery. It's got a conventional connector in it. Could probably still use it and for all that functionality. But that's just there's these odd devices that IBM produced in addition to the computers out there, typewriters I showed before, and maybe if you are aware of some other device that they did with IBM branding, let me know about it. Let's see if I can find one and do something on video for it. So if you'd like to see more videos like this, click on that subscribe button. Look over my other content, and you subscribe to my channel, you'll get notified with new videos coming out. But that is all I have for now, this IBM Museum. Thank you.